Hi, my name is Anthony Alvarez. I am one of the writers and the director of Info Bloom. I'm very happy to be here with y'all today.
Hi, my name is Joe King. I was the director of photography and editor for InfoBloom, and it is also my pleasure to be here.
This is our baby, and it was an amazing experience making it, and also the feedback that we got from all of you. So we're excited a year later to go over this together.
Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy this commentary. Let's get this ball rolling. First things first, the music.
That's literally like what an amazing introduction. Franco killed this, man.
Yeah.
This shot to me is what's really crazy because there's so much like visual effects magic going on right now that you like bodied that people would have no idea about.
For context, there's an entire road, like a circle road that cars were parked on, and I had to paint all of it out.
One of my favorite Easter eggs actually already from the beginning is that the bed has the Project Feel heart like built into its frame. So when you look at the golden ratio flipped on itself, that's the Project Feel logo fits perfectly inside of that. And also this is introducing our main character, which is Keon Staten.
Yeah, crazy poet.
He was probably one of the first like one of the first pillars of the film. I remember like when the idea came up, he was like the first person I knew, okay, I know I want him in this, and I know I want some form of poetry in this.
Yeah, he's the man. I mean, you want poetry. First person who comes to mind is Keon.
We knew that we wanted this world to be like an isolated bubble, like a universe in of itself. Everything about the shot selection, the costume design, props, all of that was how do we continue to drop these hints that this is like a universe in of itself. But these props that stand out, it also goes to show like this is not like a regular forest. Like the thinking was that these props, these beds, this mirror grow out of the world the same way that a tree would grow out of the world. And I remember we were talking about having creative, like this is a world where creativity is literally built into the fabric of the universe. And so that's why there's paint coming out of the flower, because it's literally a world that invites you to create in it. And that's why everything there is like built for these characters that are in it that are all looking for some form of self-expression. And that was definitely intentional because at Project Feel, like we really do all believe that everyone is creative, that everyone can tap into something that allows for their genuine self-expression. And it was exciting to build a world that like was so focused on that little by little with all of this. This shot right here is top 3 favorite shots of the entire film for me, which is, and it's funny because when we were talking about it, it was like the most debated one because as you guys see, like the horizon is like kind of tilting in a really disorienting way,
which was a mistake on set.
It was not intentional, but I felt like it captured, and you see him kind of climbing up, and I felt like it captured that, like it continues to feed into that essence of like this isn't a regular world, like that even like the laws of physics may be different here, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And that was a good call on your end. I'm glad we stuck with it. It felt really good to see that, like for a first short film to see like Project Feel presents.
Yeah, bro, it gave me goosebumps. The other day when we were watching this, I felt the same way. I felt equally as proud of this project, man.
Yeah.
Also, shouts out to Keon's feet for not like bleeding walking on this earth right now. I was so, and we had him go back and forth, back and forth. This right here, you did such an amazing job at like creating a moment of like your eye, like our eyes widening and realizing the scope of this world, of this island.
Yeah. When we were on set, it was a gloomy day, but that sky that you see is all fake. because it was gloomy, it was actually really easy to remove the real sky and put in a fake one. And I wanted it to, I mean, look at those clouds, bro. I mean, it's grand, and like that wide shot is, like you said, it really shows the scope. This sky too is also very fake. What was cool, you could see the shadow of the clouds
Yeah.
on the mountain. And I figured this cloud right here, like not the one on the left, but the one next to it, I felt like, okay, the shadow that we see on the mountain is that cloud. And if you were to do this in like fast forward, you would see the movement of the shadow.
Cloud coverage, yeah.
Yeah, so I had to also move all of the clouds in the sky as well, just to match that.
Yo, you're really a visual effects king, man. A joking.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
and then this mirror, right?
Waving back and forth. Right?
Yeah, it was the waves were like kicking that mirror back and forth,
It was
so I
about
had
to like snap in half.
Yeah.
Also introducing Tanya Mingo Alfonso. She has been like an artist that we've known since even like before Project Fuel started. Her and Kian are kind of the reason, like a big parts of the reason that Project Fuel even exists. So it was super dope to come full circle and a couple years later work with her on this. She's also such a professional and a true creative in every sense. Like she could do it all, and she comes correct.
Yeah, this is my first time working with her, and I would love to work with her again and again and again.
She's a star, literally.
Yeah.
This scene that we're watching with the mirror, I think it lasts like maybe 3 minutes, but it literally took us like 7 hours or 6 hours like to like get everything.
Yeah.
Because that reflection it's wild to play with, because once you move the camera even slightly in front of it, it kind of ruins the shot, because you see like, oh, there's a camera there.
All right, so you can see that the camera is focused on, and now it focuses on the paint. It was focused on Mingo, and then it focused onto the paint. That wasn't intentional, but I felt like that really, especially that shot too. It wasn't supposed to go to Mingo either, but the paint is supposed to cover her reflection, and I felt like the fact that it racked focus to her while the paint was in front of it was like symbolism of her trying to fix her gaze through it, but it's covered. And I felt like that was very powerful. So the universe was definitely on our side there.
100%. Speaking of the universe being on our side, this moment that we're watching now, to me, is like such a beautiful, incredible balance of like actual on-set shooting, amazing performance by Mingo, the clouds moving and parting at the perfect time to reveal this sunlight on her face as she's having like this moment of awareness, of self-realization. And then on top of that, adding Franco's score on top of it. It's just like so masterfully put together. That's like one of my favorite shots of the entire film. People won't know, but we had an entire different introduction to Franco Colon's character.
Yeah.
In this scene, or the character of the drummer.
The drummer, his backstory was that he was using different tools other than drumsticks to hit the drum. And right now you see him banging the drum with a book, but in that shot that was removed, it was like a tracking shot to him, but it showed all of the other pieces that he used. Like there was a ukulele there were like light bulbs, actually, which was like kind of a shout out to Michael Combs, who's our lighting designer for pretty much everything we do, but he also was one of the writers and one of the creative minds behind the origin of this whole story and writing it. Oh, one of my favorite shot, Keanu's like wearing a Bloom shirt there, which is like different than, it's not the blank tee that we're seeing. So if you look closely, you can see like the embroidery of the shirt that I'm wearing now. And we ripped that shirt in half too, right? Yeah, there it is. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize it was so blatantly there in the shot. Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, We get better with time, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, like, honestly, working with Frank, because like we've, like, at least myself, I know you've been acting with Franco for like years now, but this was, I think, my first like project with him where I was able to like see him act and like direct him. And he's like, you can see the training and experience that you guys have accumulated over like your years in Orlando, because he was so like in it in a way where like Kian and Mingo did an amazing job, but you can tell that he had just like really like dove into it and from a
Hmm.
different perspective, which was actually really inspiring to see.
I remember a lot of these shots were just like, "Yo, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll follow you." It
Mm-hmm.
was very, yeah, it's very powerful. Being there was so great. Like carrying up the drums up like a couple 100 feet. You know what I mean?
As a team too,
As yeah,
which was like kind of symbolic if you think about it.
yeah. Well, I think like that's the whole point of the story is like the power of collaboration, the power
Mm-hmm.
of teamwork, the power of love, and like all of that was shown actually on set. So the energy that you feel in the film was not like a lot of it was really just real.
Yeah, it was because it requires trust. Like even that moment where they put the bandages around his hand, he's like hesitant. And he's like he lets him, and I think that that type of trust is what's needed in a community for it to thrive. And
Hmm.
we saw that on set. Even you, like you, so many of these shots in this scene like was just you feeling it out and be like, okay, I'm gonna shoot this, now I'm gonna shoot this. Like it was, and honestly, like especially me being directing for the first time, like I really leaned on you and trusted. Like I believe that he's gonna get the shot that is meant to be gotten, and you did such an amazing job. And it's just your natural. You don't even think about it. Like you just kind of flow with the actors,
Hmm.
and you don't even have to discuss blocking. You just move as if you're like just like a spirit moving around the set, man.
Yeah, it's
Amazing
almost
job.
like a connection, like a Wi-Fi, like web connection that we have.
That's a great way of putting it. Mingo, I cannot get over how amazing Mingo is.
Hmm.
Like as an actor, as a creative, like she just like falls into the state of flow so quickly.
Yeah, she really definitely
Yeah.
set the energy.
Yeah, like when we were like, oh, we want this scene to be like joy at like discovery of music. Like this is like the first time that these characters have ever heard music. It's like
Hmm.
they've this is a feeling they may have been searching for, but it's they've never experienced it, and now they're here for the first time, and it's like, how would you react
Hmm.
if you heard music for the first time? And she just goes off.
Yeah, this song still gives me like goosebumps.
It's oh my god, I remember working with Franco because like up until now we haven't heard a word in this movie, and I
Hmm.
wanted people to think that like there's no dialogue in this. So when I was talking to him about this score, um I remember telling him like I want you to put like mess with vocals the way that you do so well in your music, so that it sounds like just these random sounds, but as they continue to be drawn out, you realize, oh, that's a person
Hmm.
speaking. Also, okay, one of our favorite Easter eggs, there is like a shot of these Polaroid photos that you see Keon holding. One of them is like the cover of his book coming out. That photo on the bottom there, that's actually a frame of him from a trip that we took to Maine a couple years ago where we filmed like a full feature documentary with 13 artists, and we took them out there and we were just creating in the woods, and we filmed everything on 3 cameras for a week. And that project is called Sunset Road Trip. I was excited because like not a lot of people know about it because we're still like putting it together and figuring out how and when we want to share it with the world. But I'm happy that we were able to throw that in there, and people
Yeah,
later on will be like, oh, that's connecting to this real life experience that we had as a team, you know?
this entire montage was done like 2 days before
Mm-hmm.
the release date. It just wasn't hitting hard enough. We needed something that really showed the power of this moment.
We were struggling with this scene. We were, like you said,
Hmm.
it was like there's something just not hitting right about it. For me, like I took this walk, and it was this song called Still by Volcano Choir. And so I remember I took a walk to get some coffee, and I'm like, I'm not gonna think about this at all. I'm just gonna listen to some music. to like kind of like unwind. I played that song, and then after that, Devil in a New Dress by Kanye West. This climactic build that you're about to hear, and then playing around with the voices where it's like it sounds like it's a sound, but then you realize it's a voice. Those that came specifically from those two references. And then telling Franco, "Can we do it like this?" He did such an amazing job, man. Shouts out to Sarah Elizabeth for making this piece the day of, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the idea, like we wanted the energies to flow, everything is interconnected. There are different emotions, different faces, but it's all one. Before we get into this poem, this beautiful poem by Keon, when he opens his eyes, he looks away from the camera, and this was the best take, really the only usable take. And he looked away from the camera, so I had to fix his eyes.
Oh, I didn't know you did that in this scene as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I had to do it
what
a
the
few
hell?
times.
You did. I didn't even realize it. I thought he
Hey.
opened straight up on it. Wow, you did a great job.
Yeah,
man.
he opened his eyes, looked to the right, and then looked back at the camera, and I was like, I gotta fix that.
Making this poem with Keon was dope because I remember telling him like this is like kind of what this film is about. I'm like, you can write whatever you want because that's the point. Like I want this to be a a platform for you. Like what is your expression of this film? But the one line that I knew, I'm like, you have to keep this one is like, why can't we live in a world that looks more like our dreams and our nightmares? And I was like, that line to me was so profound. I'm like, you're a genius for that. And that was the one thing I was like, you could change everything, you could not change that. That has to be in there somewhere.
Yeah. And what's happening here, this slow zoom out, seems to be one of your signature moves as a director.
Yeah, I can't overuse it too much because then it'll be played out. But I do love that slow reveal because the way I was thinking is that like you're looking directly into his eyes and like you're just sort of like being hypnotized by him because this is also the first words that you hear throughout the whole film, like
Yeah.
said by one of the characters on screen. So like the intention of the whole movie was to prime you for this moment, and you're like that much more into it because like, oh, they could speak, and not only can he speak, but like he's saying things that are resonating with me, hopefully, and you're so in it that you don't even realize that it's zooming out and that it's like revealing this bigger scene. And so I just felt like it was something that fit this instead of like it just being a hard cut. But also shouts out to you because this is you pulling focus so
So
slowly.
slow.
And I felt kind of bad because I remember I trusted you and I kind of like let you rock for a lot of this project, but I remember for this I was really big on like, no, that's too fast. Like
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
that's a little bit too slow.
Yeah. But that's what like good directing is about, bro. Like you stuck to your guns, like you knew what you wanted to see, and it was really up to me to match that. And I'm glad that we were able to execute it. And bro, and I'm watching it right now, and we know that it's zooming out slowly, but then you get sucked back into what he's saying and into his eyes that when you check back in 30 seconds later, it's like, whoa, okay, this is really moving.
Yeah, yeah. That the slow zoom is something that like it's not like that's a new thing, but I'm very much inspired by when it's used really effectively because it's exactly like you said, like you get lost in this moment, but then you realize like that there's this movement that's almost like sneaking up on you. Now it's like revealing this community that he has, like these strangers that met over in one day and now they spent the night together and now here they are.
And these last four lines, we just want to breathe, we just want to be, we just want to love, we just want to bloom. That's what everybody wants, bro.
And it's also powerful and it was intentional that like he says like I just want to breathe, like because this was conceived during the like all the protests after the murder of George Floyd, and like this was, I knew I wanted this film to be something beautiful that people could kind of escape from, like kind of experience something with, and with the pandemic, like it was a shitty time like for the world, especially if you were like a person of color, which we all are. And I wanted this film to be like an escape almost, but then I wanted the ending of it to bring us back into reality and be like, don't forget that we're here right now and that there are other people here that want the same things that we want, and we all deserve to bloom. We all deserve to breathe, to live, to love. Art at the end of the day, like you make it and it's not your responsibility to be like, oh, this is what this is about. But if I can say what I hope the feeling of this was, that like after you watch this world that is clearly not grounded in our like everyday reality, where like there's paint coming out of flowers and there's mirrors that come out of rivers, That's not real, but a world where we tap into our inherent creativity and beauty of the universe, that to me is real.
Well, I want to thank everyone for watching. This has been the commentary of In Full Bloom. We're going to have a three-part breakdown of the entire production of In Full Bloom, talking about, what goes into putting a movie together, what to do when you're on set, and how to deal with the issues and mishaps that happen through production. So if you're interested in that, that's going to be on our Patreon.
We're excited to share with you, like, to go deeper into like what it takes, because I really want this project to inspire people and to, people to resonate with it, but I also want creators to see it, and I want us to demystify the whole process of like filmmaking, where we can shed a light on the fact that you could do so much more than you realize with what you have right now in this moment. And I'm excited for us to like share all that and that process.
Absolutely. I hope everyone has a beautiful day. For those of you who become patrons, thank you so much. We'll see you there. And we love you.
Love you a lot. Thank you.
Bye-bye. See you later.